The power is in the youth. The young generation is the one that will solve the future crises of lottery teams, lead them to the playoffs, write history, and innovate new playstyles that are going to revolutionize the game as we know it. Without a doubt, the NBA's future is in good hands, and the face of the future is definitely Slovenian boy wonder Luka Doncic. His spot on top is unanimous, but let's see what fellow young players think of Luka. Celtic star Jayson Tatum is not one you want to mess with. After a phenomenal 2021-22 campaign where he led the Celtics all the way to the finals, Tatum is on a mission this year as well. The Celtics and the Mavs faced off on November 24, 2022, and even though Jayson was questionable before the game, he played and made a point of it. Tatum had 37 points, but where he made a statement is with his late-game block on Doncic. After the block, the two exchanged a few words, friendly trash talk, but after the game, Tatum said, "We joked about it, yeah. I told him I had to block him because I didn't want him to dunk on me," to which he said if I really thought he was going to dunk. I think as a competitor in matchups like these against, one of the best players in the league, you don't get to play often. Tatum wasn't going to miss this game. He made that sure. He later also added, "He's obviously one of the best players in the league, a special talent, somebody I respect." I really like competing against a guy like that. Luka is still leading the head-to-head battle in the 8 games he's played against Boston though, with a record of 5-3. One of Luka's 5 victories against the Celtics came in February 2021, where he hit a heartbreaking step-back three-pointer to seal the deal. After the game, the other leader of the Celtics, Jaylen Brown, was asked what the Celtics' game plan was for a guy like Luka. "I think we played well, but as we all saw late in the game, Luka hit 2 really tough shots. We got a system for it and we tried our best, but when a guy like that gets going, it's really tough. We have to get the ball out of his hands for sure." Jaylen Brown is one of the premier defenders in the NBA, and one of his toughest opponents has been Luka for sure, as Luka's been averaging 29.5 points, 7.2 rebounds, and 7 assists in his 8 matchups against Boston, on incredible 54% from the field and 52% from 3. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is one of the players most difficult to guard due to his funky playstyle. His game is based off craftiness that seems to be tailor-made for the modern NBA, and he does it with such a swagger as well. After a New Year's spectacle game where Luka's 35 points weren't enough to avoid the Thunder, as Dennis Schroeder and Shai led OKC to the W. Despite having a difficult game shooting the ball, finishing 6 from 15 from the field, Shai came up clutch on the boards by adding 10 rebounds, an amazing feat for a young guard. After the game, Shai was asked, "What makes Luka so difficult to guard without fouling?" "He's crafty, and when you're crafty, it's easier to draw fouls on the defense. That's a skill set that only a couple of guys have in the league, and that's one of his." Bam Adebayo's a modern-day big who does a lot of good stuff to impact the game. He can dribble, pass, shoot from mid-range, and defend. He's gotten the best of Luka a couple of times, but usually he gets the shorter end of the stick. After a thriller win in OT against the Mavs, where Bam had himself a triple-double night with 18 points, 11 rebounds, and 10 assists, and Luka unfortunately got injured early in the game after just 2 short minutes, Bam added a few comments about Luka while he wished him a speedy recovery. "He's special. He's one of those guys who don't let you speed them up. He's playing at his own pace, and he's really unique. He's not really fast, he just does a lot of special things, and he's a big part of Dallas's recent success." One of the breakout players of the 2021-22 season, who continues his quest in this season, is Cavs guard Darius Garland. A great shooter from long range who's also able to score off the dribble and be an impressive playmaker. Darius has brought his game to a level reminiscent of a young Damian Lillard. After a tough loss against the Mavs where Garland kind of struggled, finishing with 9 points on 3 of 8 shooting, he shared his thoughts on Luka for the media. "He's really good. He's a really good player. We did the best job we could tonight, but he's a really good player, so that's what they do." Is there anything else to say about Luka? He ended the game with 29 points, 15 assists, and 14 rebounds, while the Cavs really focused on stopping him. I guess there is no stopping him. Despite his career not being what most of us expected, Lonzo Ball is still one of the league's best defenders when healthy. He was a key piece in the Chicago Bulls' 2021-22 regular season success, but unfortunately couldn't help much in the playoffs due to being ruled out with a knee injury. One of Lonzo's favorite challenges has been guarding Luka. "I'm just trying to get into him as much as I can. Luka's a great player, and obviously if people like that don't have a hand in their face all the time, they're going to kill you all night long. So for me, I'm just trying to make his job as hard as I can." Though he can be easily forgotten due to playing for the Kings, De'Aaron Fox has become one of the best point guards in the league, which is no small feat. Fox is considered one of the fastest players in the league, a polar opposite of Luka's image. The two of them becoming teammates almost happened, but the Kings decided to make another weird draft selection, picking Marvin Bagley, who's had a really slow start so far in his career. I think Luka's been great. He really came out strong, he's playing really well, they've come together extremely well, and they're definitely going to be a team to fight for a good playoff spot. That's really tough when you have a young guy as a leader. That's what we're trying to accomplish as well. A definition of modern-day big man, John Collins has been a menace offensively due to his outside shooting, but also his ability to finish through contact, score from the pick and roll, all while being a freak athlete. Collins has really been impressed by Luka's abilities, and he didn't hold them back at all. Dude can play, straight up, dude can play. He definitely has a lot of talent, he has a great feel for the game, and he definitely just knows how to play basketball. As a competitor, I love to play against guys like that. That's probably all Collins could say since his teammate Trae Young probably has nightmares from hearing about Luka Doncic. Michael Bridges was part of the Phoenix Suns team who infamously lost to the Mavs in the 2022 Western Conference semifinals. Michael's been constantly making improvements and has become known for his defensive abilities. Guarding Luka in the regular season is difficult enough, but guarding him in the playoffs is a whole different story. On JJ Redick's podcast, Michael explained what Luka did to make it so challenging for the Suns to guard him. He didn't do anything to surprise us, but sometimes him being so close to the rim and guys having to space the floor around him being so strong and big, it makes it able for him to beat you to the rim while playing so slow. It gets you to just leave your feet, and it's over. Sometimes you just see him close to the rim and expect him to make a shot, and the dude just skips the pass across the court. And you're just like turning around, and you have a wide open three. And almost all of his passes have been high percentage and on target. I know he has the ball a lot, but he still managed to help his teammates get into a rhythm. Even when we had a layup or somewhat open shot in the paint, he's been amazing. This is great analysis from Michael, where he points out some of the less talked about skills of Luka. One of the brightest spots for the Toronto Raptors' future has been drafting and developing Scotty Barnes. For someone who's been a closely followed prospect since his high school days, Scotty has managed to remain humble and willing to put his body on the line to make winning plays, a rare sight for players that young. After facing Luka for the first time, Barnes was in shock. "He's a pretty good player," he said while laughing. "He can just do so many things with the ball, and when the ball is in his hands, he makes things happen. He can torch you whether he's coming off a ball screen, hitting the weak side guy, scoring, getting to the basket, being able to just create a lot of attention where he can do so many things. I said it a long time ago. I look forward to playing against anybody, but he's definitely one of the top guys you want to see in person, because he's really just that good. I didn't actually know he was that tall. I was surprised. I was like, damn, he's big as hell. And he can still do it all. It's a challenge that I'm really willing to take." At the end of the day, I think Wolves guard Anthony Edwards put it best. "That boy's nasty." That's all he needed to say to deliver the message. Luka's definitely earned his top spot, but with a league this full of young talent, he's definitely going to have to continue proving himself to keep it up. It's going to be really fun to watch though, that's for sure.